So this is second part of my presentation, unit testing in Angular. So this part is about introduction of Jasmine. So the default test framework in Angular JS is Jasmine. So Jasmine is a JavaScript testing framework that supports software development practice called behavior driven development. So BDD is a testing at the higher level. You test the behavior of your application. It should do this, it should not do this, right? So this is around your specifications, not centered around testing your function exactly, but testing around your specification. Okay, so Jasmine is basically for testing JavaScript apps, and the testing in JavaScript is a bit different than other languages in Java. In JavaScript, you test not only you testing your function, you also have a DOM to test. Okay, so it's a bit different. Okay, let's go through again. Jasmine is a JavaScript testing framework that supports software development practice called behavior driven development, or BDD for short. Jasmine and BDD in general attempts to describe tests in human readable format so that non-technical people, this is important, so that non-technical people can understand what is being tested. So once you look at your test suite, you can clearly understand what is there in your application, what are the requirements get implemented in your application, and the higher level idea of the behavior of your application. So Jasmine provides a syntax to do BDD, provides direct link between requirements and implementation. So this is a basic fundamental test. You have a function hello world which it returns a string hello world, and you have a describe function. It says hello, expect hello world to be equal. So you write an expectation, you call the function, and you set an expectation that this function should return this. So how clearly the test is written. So describe is for, so describe string function defines what we call a test suite. This is for defining a test suite, what your test suite is basically supposed to do, what you are testing. It string function defines an individual test spec, the individual unit of your test. The expect expression is what we call an expression. What is your expectation? Measure. The expected expression is what we call measure. It does Boolean comparison with the expected value in versus the actual value passed to the expectation. If they false, the expectation fails. So these are the common measures that we often used in testing in Jasmine. Expect array to contain member, right? To be falsy, to be truthy, to be undefined, to have been called, right? So I will try to execute this function. I have a JSFiddle. We'll try to execute this function here. Right. So this is running. So this test is running. So this part, as you can see, is for showing this output, and this is the function, and I write a basic test around this. Let's try to write one more test around it. Suppose I have a function called calculate. called sum. Which returns sum of these two numbers, right? It's not a function, it's just an object. So I will write a test around it. It should return the sum of two numbers. Expect sum to be 11. Let's try to run this. Okay. Sum is not defined because I will directly call this function. I will write calculator dot sum. Okay, so this test is passing. If I write 10, then if I try to run it, then see expected 11 to be 10. So this is my expectation. This is my actual output. This is my expectation. So this is wrong. Okay, so you see this is running with the correct expectation. So let us look at the documentation of Jasmine, what it says. Okay, so Jasmine is a behavior-driven development framework for testing JavaScript code. It does not depend on any other JavaScript framework. It does not require a DOM. It has a clean, obvious syntax so that you can write easily test. Okay, so this is an independent, full-fledged framework. Okay, so this is documentation. Your first suit. Okay, so here they have written some basic tests around the different expectations. Here, this is how you can disable a suit. So you have a number of tests. You want to disable some of the tests, you can put X. You want to disable a particular test, you can put X before it. Okay, so this is very important thing, is spies. Okay, so you are testing a function of a component in AngularJS, and that function calls some service function, some third-party service, some external service function. You don't want that service to be called, but you want to mock that service because you're testing a component, function of a component. You can test this function of a service separately. You don't want the actual service to be called, so you want to spy on it. So this is a very important thing to be used in your Angular test cases. Jasmine has a testable function called spy. Spy can stub any function and tracks calls to it and argument. So spy, so basically whatever the function you are expecting in your test to be called, you put a spy around it, so it just watches that function is called. Okay, so foo has a set bar, some function, and you put a spy on it, then you call that function, then you put an expectation, expect to have been called, right? This is how you set an expectation around a function to be called. Another important thing is create a spy. So you want to write some function, okay, and you want to call it expect to have been called. Okay, Jasmine.createSpy. Another very important thing is Jasmine provides us create a spy object. So you have some service and you have some functions around those defined in the service. So So you don't want to call those actual functions. You will just create an object and pass those functions available on the service in the array. Okay, so let's see. So those functions will automatically defined on this object, right? I will write a test case around it. Let's try to write a one test case around it. Suppose you have something like this, right? You call, okay, so suppose you have another service translator. Is a function on defined in it. Try to execute this. Okay, I have not passed the translator to this argument. Okay, so it's showing hello from translator service. So this function is working correctly. Let's try to write a test case around it. Describe. Okay, so this I will write this, wrote this execution inside the test, and I want to test that the translator service is actually called from the say hello function of the person. So I will put a spy on it. Okay, then I will call this function, and then I write my expectation. Expect to have been called. Let's try to run this. Right, so this has been called. So suppose I remove this spy on, and if I run, okay, so expected a spy but not a function, got a function. So I'm expecting this function to be called, but this spy does not exist. So this has been called. So this is about a spy. You can go through this documentation and write some functions around create a spy object. It's also a very important thing to be used in, as we will see in next episodes of Angular unit testing. Okay, so this is about it. Thank you for watching.